Well, good morning and welcome. Welcome to the Raise Them Up. I'm so excited that you're all here today. We're all coming in. The doors are open. Everyone's coming in. I know you're finding a seat in your own house. So welcome to you. Welcome, welcome. So I'm excited that we have a lineup of some amazing teachers, women. I know Crystal and I were talking about she's boots on the ground. We've got women with boots on the ground. It's just not like, oh, hello, I wrote a book about homeschooling. These are women. We made sure we picked women who actually have homeschooled children. They actually know what they're talking about. Now I have some housekeeping I want to do, and then we're going to jump right in. It's going to be a really, really, really full day. We're going to try to keep you going. So part of that housekeeping is to let you know, because we are going. You don't have to raise your hand to go potty. Okay, it's not that kind of class today, but instead, we won't be taking very many breaks at all. So feel free to just jump, run, go get something and come back. Know that we can't see you. So just our panelists are across the top. That's who we get to see right now. And let me make sure I have myself. Let me fix in a couple little things here. So yeah, we're good. So it's just your panelists are seen. So don't worry. All of you that are attending, your mics are off. You don't have mics available, so don't have to worry about that. That's why we do it this way. So feel free to come and go. The other thing is to let you know that there is no humanly way possible we can keep up with the chat during these webinars. We love that you're chatting with each other. So please, it's okay to talk in class. So you can go down there and just chat away. I won't be reading those until maybe some breaks and I can jump on. But I'll let you know questions. If you have questions, again, I'm going to say this over and over. If you have questions, please put that on the bottom of your computer or on your phone. You'll see it says Q&A. Please put them there. We will see, I'll look at them, and if it's something we can answer in between, we will. Otherwise, we'll be holding all of those Q&As till the end during the Q&A, which will happen at the very, very end. So we have a full day, so we're going to keep pushing through. I'm going to try to sneak in some little 5-minute breaks for you here and there. If you unsubscribe, this is a random thing, but you'll be getting emails from us because you registered. If you happen to unsubscribe, when you unsubscribe, the sad part about that is you won't get the conference updates. We work really hard not to send you spam. We want to send you value. So we try to send you stories or encouragement or study information. So please, we don't want to spam you at all. But if you do unsubscribe, you will lose out on being able to get those conference updates. Again, any great insights. We have some really great emails, I think, that go out. You should have gotten a workbook. Please forgive me. That was me. Everyone was on vacation this week and it fell on me, and I forgot to go back in and that very last those emails to add the links to the workbook. So it went back out this morning. So go in there. I would encourage you right now to go into your emails. If you have to check wherever you need to check, it should be from Charlie Brown, and no E, just Charlie with an I. And check on there and grab your workbook, because there's so much stuff in there. And that way, if you print it, you can actually take notes under each one of the speakers. And let's see what else we have. Stay for the Q&A. I really am excited about that because we have our speakers will be coming back and they'll be coming in for the Q&A. Some of these speakers are recorded today, but they will be coming back in live for the Q&A. And then let's see what else. Also, please, if you are a member of the Rooted Cafe, you do not have to buy these videos. They are included in your membership. You pay that small little fee every month, and that's one of the benefits, is you actually get access to all these. And when you if you do purchase or if you're a member or you purchase these videos, you will be able to upload those. You'll see those uploaded into your library no later than tomorrow. I'm already pulling things over. So some of them, I'm just going to start making them live this afternoon. And again, I talked about the Q&A. Please, again, use your Q&A buttons. Inside your workbook, each one of our speakers has contact information. Please feel free. Email them. Reach out to them, ask them questions personally. Everyone that's on here is willing to do that with you. And then sister finders, for some of you who are saying, I just wish I knew if there was someone near me. If you would go to the rootedcafe.com, up at the top, you'll see a button and it's sister finder. Click on that and we have a map. First of all, put yourself in there. We don't ask for your address. We want to keep it safe. It's just your, I think your zip code. But put yourself on the map, and you can look on the map and see who's around me, and it'll have your sister's name, and it'll have her email address, so you could reach out to her and say, hey, I live just close by you, and let's connect. Do you have homeschooling children? That would be a great thing to know. And we are going to be doing some giveaways today, so I want to show you guys a few things we'll be giving away. We're going to be giving away one of Tyler's books, Context for Kids. If you have this one and you win, we'll get you another one of hers, but it's the 10 Commandments and the Covenants of Promise. This is the kids' text for that. Of course, we'll be giving away a couple of the Gracie books. Yay, this one is on the 10 words, going through the 10 words. We'll be giving some of those away. We also giving away something really special. This is from Yaz Manna, and it's one of their kids sets. And so what's really cool is it has, I don't want to take it out and mess it up, but this one obviously is about the 10 Commandments also. But it's going through the golden calf, and you can tell the story. It has a really cool placemat that's wipeable that they can color on. Every part of it has stuff to do with this different stories. Yaz Manna, we love them. They're super great. So we're going to be here's how you get a hold of them if you want to check that out. yazmanna.com. But it's really cute. It's really fun to watch your kids when they have these and they start teaching each other, like they're telling each other the stories while they're eating. We're also going to be giving away, if some of you guys use some of the Sammy spiders, I love these for my grandkids. So Sammy's first Sukkot, Rosh Hashanah, hey, these are all coming up, right? And Sammy's first Shabbat. We're going to be giving that away. And we have one of the Becky books, What is the Torah? Becky books. Okay, some fun giveaways. How are we going to do the giveaways? I'm going to go through and I'll be pulling your names while speakers are going on. I'm going to be putting you on the spinning wheel, and at the very end, everyone who's left, you must be present to win. Then I will do that. So let's see. Let me make sure I have all my little notes. Stay for Q&A. Again, sadly, there's no time for us to do the Q&A. We're so packed, full of goodness. We aren't going to be able to be scanning through the chat all the time. But you can contact the speakers if you don't feel like your question gets answered. You know what? I didn't have any trouble getting speakers for this event. They all were so gracious. So I just asked that everyone just please, before we even start, everyone in the chat say thank you, thank you, thank you for everyone, because they're coming in on their own time to pour into you. So please, everyone in the chat right now, would you just say thank you? Just 1, 2, 3, thank you. Okay. I'd love you to do that for me. That would be awesome. Speaking of the 1, 2, 3s, we are going to do this throughout the whole thing. I'm going to say, type something in the chat and then 1, 2, 3. And we're going to ask you then to do your answer, but don't hit your answer in the chat until I say go. So let's do that right now. Let's type thank you in the chat. Everyone type thank you. Don't hit it yet. Just type thank you and let's shout it. You guys, your cap button, click your cap button on. Everyone type thank you in the chat. Don't hit the thank you. Do not hit enter yet. I'm going to go live over to Facebook here for these guys as well. While you're doing that, everyone type it. Ready? 1, on 3, you're going to hit your enter button. 1, 2, 3. Yay. Oh, the chat is disabled. Okay, well, I'll have to go in and figure that out for you. I'll figure that out, guys. It looks like I'm getting some chats, but not others. Perfect. I'll go in and fix that while our first speaker gets going. So I'm going to introduce her and get her set up. Subsiding. How about before that, let's do that. Everybody stand up. Everyone stand up wherever you're at. Your kids are going to be looking at you like you're crazy. Everyone stand up, stand up. We're going to do this. We have just a couple minutes, so let's do it. Ready? Hey, Crystal, if you can go into the back on Zoom and see if you can enable chat, that would be awesome. Okay, are you standing? Okay. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. You got to do it with me. You're not doing it with me. I can tell. I can't see you, but I can tell. All right, ready, set, here we go again. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, then your life will surely show it. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, stomp your feet. Okay, you have to stand up to do this one. If you're happy and you know it, stomp your feet. If you're happy and you know it, then your life will surely show it. Then you're happy and you know it, stomp your feet. If you're happy and you know it, say amen, amen. If you're happy and you know it, say amen, amen. If you're happy and you know it, then your life will surely show it. If you're happy and you know it, say amen. Okay. You weren't doing it, I bet. Were you? Tell me, you're gonna have to tell me if you're gonna do it. We're fixing our chat so you can all let us know. It's all coming in on the Q&A. There is no video. So a quick answer, a couple questions. No, there is no video. So on you all at all, there's no video, no video. And we will get this chat done for you. Thank you. I'm going to look into it. We'll get it done. Thanks, guys. Okay, so let me jump in and introduce our first speaker. Woo! This is, I mean, I'm going to introduce you in her words because she's my friend and I could go on and on and on and on about it, but we'll go here. She says, I am firstly the daughter of God, a woman, then a wife, a mother, a grandma, and a holistic health practitioner. The journey to this career began in 1992 because of my growing faith in God and the healing he brought to my own life through his word and the tools he said to incorporate. I became biblically certified health coach and a registered movement teacher 15 years ago, practicing movement, creating what I call boundless movement yoga, and glorifies the Father with strengthening and healing clients, mind, body, and spirit. I'm a certified aromatherapist and doTERRA wellness advocate, educating and supporting a large team of like-minded natural health seekers in the benefit of support essential oils offer as part of a doTERRA family. I pray blessings thousands of people along the way, as well as she does so much. It's in this area, and in the Ruta Cafe, she's actually does a biblical oils class once a month where she talks about the oils for that month. And no matter what oil you're using, she's telling you how to use it and how to bring it into your life and how to bring healing. Her specialty is growing in techniques, and she uses to release trapped emotions in your body and bring freedom from dis-ease that her clients have never experienced before. I can personally tell you that I have experienced and have been blessed by my friend Debbie. I'm going to ask you to go ahead and turn on your camera. I have been super blessed by her and have experienced the healing using her techniques. So I am going to bring her on. You guys, this is really fun, huh? Pin. How about this? Continue. There we go. Ta-da. Hey, Debbie, come on in. It's you.
It says I can't undo my video.
Oh, that's because you came in differently. Okay, here we go. Da-da, da-da. Can you come in under go out and come back in under the link that you sent me on the email?
I tried that. It wouldn't let me. I know. That's what I said.
Okay. It should be letting you in. Hold on. Crystal, if you could hop in on the back there adding people, she's working on it. If you would work on, Debbie can go ahead and start, but we're going to bring.
Oh, wait a minute.
Things are happening. Oh, she's coming back in. Thank you, guys. Everyone, 1, 2, 3, start praying. We're going to all start praying for we're going to start praying for technical issues, right? Because that's always what ends up happening. Technical issues this morning. We'll wait for Debbie to come back on. While we're waiting for Debbie to come back in, let's do a quick thing. I want to know if we're going to use your chats right now. I want to know how many years have you been homeschooling? So, and what I want you to do is I want you to write it in the chat, write how many years, and maybe you're over in, I'm live streaming us over to our Facebook group, The Portion. Go ahead and type in over in The Portion, how many years have you been homeschooling? I would love to hear that. How many years? Yay. And I don't know if she's still working on we'll have some ladies happen over here. I think someone just signed me out. Am I on? I apologize, guys. We're having some technical difficulties, and I'm going to pause. It won't take me just a second, and I'll add your video. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. All right. Oh, you're going to add it. Okay. What about my PowerPoint?
Great. Can you share your screen? You don't have an idea. Watch, I'm going to make you a co-host. I bet you that'll work.
I can share my
There you go. You're
screen.
sharing your screen, and try now bringing on your video.
All right, just a sec.
We see your screen.
Oh, there I am. Okay. All right, let's trying to slideshow.
It's at the very bottom. At the very bottom by the slidey bar, you see it looks like a projector screen. When you click that, it goes slideshow. Very bottom right.
Mine's up at the upper left.
Oh, it's both. Sorry.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, welcome, ladies. I'm glad you're here. And I am presenting the dreaded talk of our kids and their activities. Are they ADD, ADHD? And yes, I homeschooled our 3 children, and I get the exciting times now to watch my children raising theirs and teaching them all the things that we strive to teach our children. So welcome. And I have hopefully some tools that you'll be able to use as you go throughout your day and weeks and the long school year, whatever that is. When we homeschooled all year round because we took off more during the winter because that was what worked for us and our family. So we had a lot of fun. We were able to take off when Dad was home, take and go to the beach when we wanted to. And so, yeah, loved it. All right. So, all right. Like she said, daughter of King of Kings, wife of 35 years, mom of 3, grandma of 6, friend of many, veteran homeschooler, homeschool group leader. I worked with the county as a liaison when anyone had trouble homeschooling. I was an eclectic homeschooler. So the first year we began, I prayed because I was like, how do I do this? And the Father said, do what I did when I walked the earth. So I prayed and he showed me what to do, gave me the curriculum. So I was eclectic, as many, I'm sure as many of you are. I became a birth doula once my oldest graduated, and a health coach, and yes, movement specialist, and trapped emotion facilitator. So a little bit about me. All right, so do your children experience ear infections, sleep problems, bruises, cuts, scrapes, colds, flus, stomach problems, respiratory issues, cough, sore throats, emotional, behavioral issues, skin conditions? These may or may not be related exactly to ADD or ADHD, but they can be a problem on top of all that. So just kind of take note of these, because what we may think is ADD may actually be some of these things instead. And so we want to just be mindful of not always just labeling everything, because I know as an adult, I don't know if there's adult ADD or ADHD, but oh my goodness, right? So, and I don't want to label everything either. So just take any mindful consideration of, do your children experience any of these things? And maybe there's going to be some tools that you'll see that you can use to help. So we're going to cover nutrition and dyes, preservatives, clean eating, our lifestyle, sleep routines, vaccines, heavy metals, the 80-20 model, and supplementation. How to determine which supplements are needed. And that may be easier said than done, or maybe harder. So don't get worried about it. As you begin to, be mindful and consider what your child is actually experiencing, those things can become easier. And that's what I hope that you'll see with this. Here's some statistics on ADD and ADHD, and it's unbelievable, but 5.2 million kids are being diagnosed with it. More boys than girls, typically. And the emotional growth is about 30% slower with children with ADD, ADHD than those without it. 65% of children have a problem with authority figures. Not sure why, but that's a statistics that I found. 25% of the kids with it have learning disabilities. So maybe that child who's struggling in one thing or another, maybe that's because of some of the things we'll talk about today. And this is not, I don't want you to walk away and go, oh my gosh, we're going to start out with baby steps. We're going to start out like we've just had all of this, and we're going to take each step one at a time and go forward. We're not, we're going to look back at the past only to grow and become more knowledgeable and better able to serve our kids. So 40% of children have a parent who have ADHD. 50% have sleep problems. Parents of ADHD children are 3 times more likely to divorce than a child that doesn't. And that could be because of some of those emotional things that we're trying to deal with our child, and it affects us. So hopefully some of these things are going to be even helpful for you. That is my goal when I'm talking with a client, is to help them help the family, because all of these things are family. It affects the whole family. And right now, nearly 1 million children are currently being diagnosed with ADHD are misdiagnosed. So that's why I say, let's look at some of the behavioral issues, the things that we're bringing into our home. Is there something that we can change to help our child? So nutrition, are we taking in what we think can be nutrition, but have dyes or preservatives? Are we clean eating? Are we taking in gluten? Gluten is in so many products today. It's shocking. You have to, as a parent, be very diligent. If this does affect your child, we have to be so diligent with what we're giving our kids. And so we want to talk about, how do we make changes that can stick, that can be a continued habit, so to speak, as part of our lifestyle. And I know if you're here and you're homeschooling, or you're a part of the Rooted Cafe already, you do, I hope, clean eat. Eat what the Father says is good for us. And, sugar, yes, can be out of balance at times. However, sugar is in the word. And so let's not fear all of those things. Let's just take an inventory, become mindful of what we're taking in, what can we change, and what can we add. And I guess my picture came out a little backwards. Didn't know how that happened, but you know how PowerPoints are sometimes. When you put that picture in there, turns it around. So anyway, some of these things do have that red dye in there, have preservatives, and so we want to be mindful of what is in our food. These are some of the food dyes, foods that have dyes in them. We may not realize it, but it's in there. And, I know in the portion, Charlie this past week spoke about some of that red dye and where it comes from. And, my husband, my kids know, We go on a road trip. He loves his gummies. So, gummies, you got to be careful what's in there, the dyes, but also the gelatin. What is it made from? Is it kosher in, no pork products, because they can use a product that we may not consider food. So there's another thing. When we clean eat, we are eating what our Father says is clean eating. It's not just, oh, this is organic, or oh, this is good because it's a clean, because the world says it's clean. It has to be clean according to him as well. So what is red dye number 40? Well, it's the most common dye, and it's shown to cause hyperactivity. And this is the one that causes a lot of that. Oh, so if your kid's hyper acting crazy, maybe look at what they've had. Have they been to a party? Have they, snuck something that maybe you enjoy that has a little bit of that red 40? Well, if it's not good enough for your children, maybe it's not good enough for us. And I know that's kind of hard because we we like what we like. Um, red 40 can be in food, drinks, pastries, personal care products as well, believe it or not. That was one that I was taken aback with, because in our personal care products, why? Why? To make it look pretty. Um, it's in several over-the-counter medications and prescriptions. And so it can cause problems to our neurological system, racing heart, tiredness, fatigue, even rashes. What's this mysterious rash that popped up in our family? Maybe there's something to what we're ingesting. Uh, it's also referred to as coal tar. It is banned in Canada and Europe due to the effects on the body. And sometimes it's kind of neat to look at what other countries ban, because that gives us an indication of, maybe I shouldn't have this. And according to the Center of Science in the Public Interest, they found that red dye, along with others, also have carcinogenic properties. What that means is, when our cells are not fed good, nutritious food, they can begin to mutate, and the carcinogens in foods, in products, can enable that to happen. And we want to stay away from that. There was a little girl that I knew that was rushed to the hospital because of what she was taking in, and the parents were, they thought they were clean eating, they thought they were doing everything right, but there were hidden ingredients in, I apologize because I don't remember exactly what they discovered it was, but it caused issues for her. Once they found out, they were liberated, they were set free from that, and they were able to now nurture and help their daughter. So this is why I'm passionate about it, because as we discover what is hurting us or causing a dis-ease in the body, we can make those changes. We can change, one step at a time. We can graduate to kindergarten, because we started all these things back here. And now but we're still on that learning journey, because the world changes daily and products change, especially in this last 2 years, believe it or not, they've had to pull in other ingredients in foods that you may buy that you would not normally eat, and they don't have to tell you. They don't have to tell you, and that's a scary place to be, let me tell you. So preservatives, the bad preservatives, right? If we could just stick to the outer edges of the grocery store, we would all be doing so good. BHT, very dangerous preservative, and it's also linked carcinogenic as well, and hormone disruptors. We are so intricately made and beautifully made, wonderfully, beautifully, fearfully made, and when we introduce something that causes a hormone disruptor, it affects us in ways that we may not realize. MSG is a neurotoxin. What products would you find MSG in? Well, any of your soy, but they're putting MSG in many, many products because it's a flavor, right? It's a flavor enhancer, but it damages the nervous system and it affects the brain. If you go get that, what is the little restaurant you can run in? It's Asian and you can get your, quick fried rice.
Panda Express.
Yes, Panda Express. Thank you. I was like, what is the name of that? I don't think I've ever been there. But anyway, because I don't do well with MSG. Found that out years ago. It can cause just different issues. And so looking at something like that, if you know you've had it, then and there's a reaction, maybe that's the culprit. And I don't say any of this to take away what you enjoy. We can find ways at home to make it. There's so much on the internet about food prepping for the week, for the, having it all ready for our families. It's easier to do than it used to be, I think, because there's so many great ideas out there and people sharing how they can do it. Sodium benzenate, that is a preservative in almost all beverages. And then the good old aspartame. And so we think we're doing something good because we're not having the sugar, right? And I don't know if you realize it, but sugar is in everything. And there's a great, I think it's on either Amazon Prime or YouTube video called Sugar. And it's a guy from Australia or New Zealand, and he does a test, like a test on himself. He's eating sugar just whatever he wants, whenever he wants, way above the recommended daily amount. It's excellent, teaches you a lot. But sugar is sharp. Even though it turns to liquid, it's still sharp. And we may not realize that if we have high cholesterol, it could be because of sugar. Because as we consume sugar, because of that sharpness, it scratches our insides. And what does our body do? Well, if we fall down outside, we make a scab. If we get a road rash, knees, elbows, your body's normal activity is to make a scab. Well, that's what cholesterol does on the inside, and it clogs. So the more sugar we eat, the more cholesterol. We think it's just, the bad fats. And yes, that's contributor too. However, sugar. So I say all that to say that getting away from sugar is good, but don't go to the aspartame because that can cause a whole gamut of health issues, headaches, and it actually encourages the body to hold on to weight. Aspartame or your fake sugars are, they don't have to tell you the names of all the different ones, although they do put it on the labels. Look them up. It would benefit you to know what those different forms of aspartame or fake sugars are. And then just even stay away from the added sugars. Sugars in food, fruits, I don't think it's the same because that's a complete father-given food that we can eat. So your apples, your peaches. Oh, this time of year, the peaches, right? They're lovely. So thinking about changing out some of these things. Maybe add some peaches to that rice, that fried rice, instead of the MSG. Give it a little bit of different flavor, or mango. And then Dr. Peter, he is a professor of microbiology, and He tests in the UK. He tested the effect of sodium benzenate on living yeast cells in his laboratory and found that the chemical damage an important fragment of DNA in mitochondria cells. Wow, that's not good. One of the effects of sodium benzenate. So if we can, yes, try to stay away from products that have that. Start doing your research, start looking it up. So what are we doing to replace it? Are we eating the rainbow? Are we giving our bodies the rainbow? Father has so many promises that come to mind with the rainbow, right? As a sign. And we can eat the rainbow. We can eat all those fruits and vegetables. And if your kids don't like the veggies, there's so many ways to get them uh, into our kids today. You know, kids love smoothies. Maybe put some of those lovely greens, spinach, which doesn't have much flavor, and make them a Hulk shake, you know, if you've got boys, or a, oh gosh, what would be for a little girl? There's little stories I'm sure that you could come up with for a little girl to drink a green shake. Um, Days of the week, maybe you have a day, you know, a color each day. Eat the rainbow. It's a great way to teach your children. It's a great way to get them involved in the cooking and in the eating and the preparing and the uh, choice of what they're eating. And the more you have your kids work with you, the better. And we're homeschoolers, so why not? And as they get older, you can have them do the Food Network show in the home to teach their siblings or their friends all about the food. It's a great way. So think about and maybe just journal. What foods do they like? Do they love? Incorporate more of those and then begin putting in some of the other colors in that fruit basket. And tomatoes are fruit. Peppers, I believe, are fruit. I believe a definition I heard as far as fruit is having the seeds in it, having a seed. So maybe explore some different foods that are fruit that maybe we can, you know, we've always been told are vegetables. Um, this is a way to get more nutrient dense food into our kids. And as we do that, because you're giving them nutrient dense foods, they're fuller, longer, they're not craving some of those other things because when we have what we need and are satisfied, we don't need the other stuff. And our Father will show us. He will show us what we can consume to help our bodies. If we're craving one thing for like a week, have you ever had that happen? You know, craving tomatoes in the spring. There's a reason. And eating the rainbow, eating tomatoes in the spring, there's actually a chemical in those tomatoes that help protect your skin. So it's beautiful eating the rainbow. I encourage my clients all the time to do that. Um, all right, so think about what you're going to exchange. Whoop. I've got this thing in front of me and can't see. Okay, so clean eating. Getting to eat cleaner. No dyes, no preservatives, no packaged foods. Package your own foods. Have your kids get involved in that. No refined sugar. Removing the bad and replacing it with the good. What that does is, as I mentioned, is it actually helps help you feel satisfied, help you have the nutrients the body needs, have the minerals the body needs to help satisfaction, satiety, as well as the nutrition. So we don't have the need for the other. Try freezing some of your foods. We love frozen grapes. Maybe try freezing, mango. What about frozen red peppers or some other kind of fruit or vegetable? Or we can dehydrate them. We can dehydrate strawberries, all kinds of foods, right? Eating meat. This is a discussion, and I tell my clients, I tell my friends, or anybody that knows me, I don't subscribe to any one diet except the biblically clean diet, because there are times that my body does crave different foods. So if we eat meat, try to eat meat that is clean, meaning no antibiotics, no hormones, no soy, because again, if you're here and you're eating what is said to be food, then you know what meats you can and can't eat, or shouldn't eat. And I don't like that word should, but we do use it. Eating foods like whole wheat grains, whole pastas, and they've got some great pastas now that are made with chickpeas or spinach. So there's a way to get vegetables in there, or maybe consider making your own. It's not that hard. And I bet the kids would have a blast making the dough, rolling the dough, to make pasta. Incorporate your greens in there. If you juice some of those greens and they can drink that juice, make fruitsicles, make vegetables, add some veggies to it. There's so many good things on the internet. If you Google, or if you ask your friends, start asking, hey, what do you do for your kids? If you haven't already, because it's so much fun. And if you're homeschooling, I do so encourage you to get together with friends and have cooking parties. Have times when the kids come together and they see each other eating the different foods. I remember seeing my kids watching another child eat a different food that they weren't familiar with, like bamboo sprouts. Have you ever eaten bamboo sprouts? They're great in Chinese food, Asian food. And, the kids were like, what? Bamboo? Or those little tiny corns. They're great. They're so fun. So think about maybe doing some of those things, getting together and having that food party. Foods to exchange. Exchange the sugar for raw honey. Exchange the candy, the cookies, the snacks for your own homemade treats. I bet your kids, this is like a whole unit study. I'm telling you, we loved unit studies. This is like a whole unit study where you're diving in and getting into, what do you eat? What do you like to eat? Exchanging one thing for another. Maybe you make granola with peanut butter, or maybe you throw in some dried red peppers. They're sweet. Give it a little different flavor. Make a savory granola, make a sweet granola. Exchange the meat for grass-fed, organic, free range. The deli meat, baked chickens, make some chicken, grab some whole chickens and cook those. And then you can have that as your deli meat and your crackers and your cheese. Exchange the deli meats for your steaks, roasts. You'll see a big difference in some of those rashes, some of the behaviors, all all of this food is so good for us, but staying away from what is causing these issues is important. So I hope that these are just giving you ideas. And as you become, and I encourage, uh, journal what you're eating for a week. Journal, are you having gluten? Journal what the kids are eating, because gluten can affect children. Several studies show that removing gluten we have an increased focus. There is Roundup that are in foods, unfortunately, affecting more than the actual gluten itself. Reading the labels, raisins can be rolled in flour to prevent sticking. Yes, they can. There can be gluten in raisins. Read your labels. It takes a minimum of 6 months from the last time you ate it to be removed from your body. And if you're wondering about a gluten intolerance because of behaviors, removing it for the time and then slowly adding it back is super helpful in learning, is this really causing my child some problems, or is it something else? Okay, what about our lifestyle? We have to look at our lifestyle. Do we have a regular bedtime? No later than 9 p.m. Even for us, shutting down after the kids are in bed. I love to use vetiver, serenity, lavender on the big toe at night because it helps to wind down. It helps to draw the stillness in. Now, if your child gets hyped up on lavender, there are some people that do. I have a very good friend who does not use lavender to calm. She uses a citrus to calm. There can be opposites. So thinking about that, maybe something like that is simple and easy to you know, kind of adjust in the life. Uh, diffusing oils for a restful sleep. If they have trouble, remember that that list in the beginning, if they have respiratory problems, maybe that's contributing to their sleep habit. If they're restful or if they're not getting good sleep, we must make nutrition a priority. The extracurricular activities may have to be put on hold for a time because they just might. Or those extracurricular activities just need tweaked and changed to be more healthful. Making changes every day, one day at a time, we can do this. And preparing ahead of time is super important. Now, vaccines, I'm not going to get into whether you do or not, but just knowing that they contain mercury and formaldehyde and they can damage the nervous system. They're very controversial. You can actually go to Candace Owens on, just go to her and she breaks down the vaccines, the ingredients, so that you can know what's in there. I encourage everyone to do that and make your decision based on the education and the research you've done. You can still get public waivers, private waivers for school. Go to NVIC. Do your own research, always, always to know. Now, heavy metals can contribute. They're in the environment. They are, they're tough, but we can help our bodies get rid of them. Combining essential oils, combining herbs, activated charcoal can help. Heavy liquid hydrated bentonite clay. Drinking lots of citrus waters, always helpful. If you want a recipe, let me know. I can give that out. And then supplementation. Now I say 80-20 here, 80% supplementation, 20% nutrition and lifestyle. Making a change every 40 to 60 days to make it a lifestyle, but not changing the diet, you've got to change the diet, change the lifestyle in order to do better. And every day is a new day. We wake up with new breath in our lungs. It's a new day. So we can start over if we had something yesterday. And eventually that 80-20 is going to flip to the opposite. And it's going to be only 20% supplementation, 80% nutrition and lifestyle, because we are, we are deficient in our nutrition as far as fruits and vegetables as much as it used to be years ago. We deplete the soil and we don't replace it. We have farming methods that we didn't use years ago. So there's different things to consider. So if you start out supplementing, remember I said getting those micronutrients in our children, macronutrients in our children and ourselves, we may need to supplement 80%. And supplements can be different. So choosing supplements, that's why I say helping you decide what supplements. If you want to know what's good for your body, reach out to me. We can do some kinesiology to see what is good for you, what's good for your child. Learning ways to know what's good is super beneficial. And then that can flip to where it's 20%, only 20% supplementation. Like maybe you've gone to a party and you need something. Now I do use doTERRA essential oils because back when I became a birth doula, I was introduced to them, and I do believe the research we did, there are the highest quality therapeutic essential oils in the market. They test outside sources as an accountability to me as their customer, to you as their customer. And because of being in business 30 years, that was super important to us, that they let their yes be yes and their no be no on what they said was in there. And they give us all of that information. So I love that these oils are grown in their natural environment, and the farmers and the people that bring them to us, they are a part of the co-op to bring them to us. So they are 50 to 70 times more potent. They go into the bloodstream. Everything you put on your body. That's why I brought up earlier about personal products, shampoos, lotions. What goes in the on the body goes in the body in about 20 to 30 seconds. And they work fast. They go throughout the whole body in about 20 to 30 minutes. And they work on an emotional aspect in the body as well, just by diffusing them. They bring the body back into balance because they bring homeostasis. And that's important. That's what we want in our home, that homeostasis. So this is an actual before and after of how the blood moves and keeping it healthy. And I actually can share with you an experience with a friend of seeing the dry blood, live blood testing that we did on her before and after using this blend of oils. If you've got a child with ADHD or ADD, or just a child who is hyper, we haven't labeled them. I don't know that we have to label everything, but you want to calm the room down, balance on the feet. It brings balance. It's like going outside, stepping outside on the earth, the energy of the earth. It's our grounding. And supplementation, sleep, nutrition, focus, peace of mind. We can supplement these things. If we need a nap during the day, get some sleep. We can supplement the nutrition. Supplementation helps with focus. It brings peace of mind. So think about some of the things that I brought up as far as vaccines. What about movement? As a movement worker, teacher, Are we moving? Are we allowing our kids to move, or are we sedentary? Do we just sit and, mm, are we moving with our children? I encourage, if you're at home and you're watching TV, maybe stand at the counter or stand at the couch and move a little bit. If you want ideas, reach out to me. I'd love to help in that area, give you ideas. That is part of what I do as far as health coaching. Take inventory of your sleep habits. And all of these things can be helpful for that child or parent who may have ADD, ADHD. So, Charlie, if you're still here, I am finished.
I am. I have just noticed a quick question. It did pop my, normally can't see these. I'll look at the Q and A's. Ruth has a question really quick. I think we have time to get to it. It says, I was trying to answer on the poll. Oh, wasn't letting me. Oh, I'll check with that later. Okay, so I did see one. You guys, please put your questions if you want them answered. I can't keep up with the chats going so fast, which I love, but I did see this one because it says question before in the beginning. But please just click Q&A, and then that way I can read them from there better. Jen Gorski asked, "We have recently cut out food dyes and most packaged foods. Do you think that having them once in a while at grandma's party is worth it? I know this is a personal question, but I would love to hear your opinion. How long does it stay in your system? We have four boys, one who's ADHD, autism, and PTSD. I want to keep it the same for my whole family."
My personal opinion, is that what she's asking?
Yeah.
So that's a hard one.
The answer is yes.
Yes, because there is something special about getting treats at grandma's. However, what I would suggest is, or even parties, what I would suggest is maybe talking with grandma and sharing with her the concerns that you have for your child who may have ADHD or ADD, or what you're trying to do in your home, because oftentimes we can just be offended because grandma gave them something that they shouldn't have. But if we work together, you know, brothers and sisters working together pleases our Father. As an adult, our mom is our sister too in the
Mhm.
Lord. So I would just say, talk with them and help them know what those treats can be. And maybe it's not something you even have in your home, but it's a treat that grandma has that is approved by you because you're bringing life to your children, and we want her to bring life to them too.
And I think
So,
as grandmas, Debbie, you and I both agree. I know we agree on this. As grandmas, if you come to her with this thing that these are some things they're allergic to,
yeah.
just use different terminology if they're not in alignment with your maybe your belief systems. These are some things that are allergic, that's damaging to their health. They're allergic to it. It causes some physical risk things to the grandma's not going to want to give them something that, if you're just like, oh, I don't want them to have that, they're going to like do the grandma thing and sneak it because there's some like joy in that for some reason.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I don't know if it's us getting back at our children. I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
just kidding.
No, I know what you mean. I mean, we
There's a
were
secret joy in that of just giving them something they're not supposed to have. But if you tell them, would you just be like, here's a list of the things I want, and then do it in a heart of, I want you to spoil them. I want you to bless
yes.
them. I want you to do all the things that, and them think that they're not allowed to have it. But here's just a few things they're allergic to. So if you don't mind just like making sure these things they don't have, and then just do fun special things with them. So I know
Yeah.
like my granddaughters, they spent time with their great grandma this week and they were making chocolate biscuits and gravy. And
Ooh.
I mean, canned biscuits,
Wow.
all the milk, all the stuff there, but the memory was worth it. The
Right.
memory was worth it with their great grandma standing at the kitchen making all this stuff. And she was so excited to share this, like
Ah.
this thing. So I mean, choose your battles, right?
Yeah, yeah, you have to. And, knowing that great grandma wanted to do that, maybe you didn't know ahead of time, but maybe you could ask.
Yeah.
They're going to stay with them or be there. Hey, what are you thinking? What do you want to do? And then maybe take the time to find the better biscuits, you know, find the better chocolate, find the better whatever to ease your mind, or pick your battle. Maybe you get the biscuits that you want and let her do the rest.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
Yeah.
so much to
Exactly. Exactly. And I think it's just how you
welcome.
approach it. When we come, especially if you're approaching, and I remember being younger, I didn't let the grandparents buy my daughter anything with batteries. If it required a battery,
Oh,
she wasn't allowed to have it.
because it was noisy, right?
Well, no, it was more that because I was like, I wanted her to use her imagination. I don't want her to be so stimulated
Yes.
from all these outside things, and you know, and so that was my thing, and I'm sure that they gave it to her, and she did all those things behind my back, and it's their choose your battle. If I had come to them with a different heart, I'm sure they would have heard me differently. So just that's probably the number one thing.
Yeah.
So
And
Debbie, how do they reach you? I know that do you have a Facebook group they can join? If
they
you can put it in the chat, that would be awesome. But
okay.
you can tell
Yeah.
them too.
Yeah. Um yeah, I'll
What's
put
the
that
name of your
in.
Facebook group?
It's balancing hormones. Let me gosh.
It's okay. You can pop it in the
Yeah.
chat, and then they can email you. Where's the
Mm-hmm.
best place to email you?
Debbie at debbiefranek.com, or
Per-
here at the Rooted Cafe. That works too. Um, yeah, and I just want to say, so, I talked about the red dye 40, and okay, raise your hand if you love M&Ms, right? That's like a big, thing.
I was craving those this week.
Were you? Well, maybe you
Yes.
need some magnesium. Maybe you need the chocolate and you need magnesium.
There you go.
There's reasons that we do crave things. But anyway, at a party, our little grandson was like getting all the M&Ms. And I'm like, "Oh, that's going to be fun." And he was great. Like it was fine. But I'm thinking, what if they just made the bag of M&Ms with just the brown ones? Because the brown ones don't have all the dye or as much dye. Or if you're going to give your grandchild or your great grandchild a treat of M&Ms, pull out of the red, the yellow, the green, the blue, and just give them the brown ones. I know it's not as fun, but you know, they can still have their little M&M and think they're getting this amazing treat. So, yeah.
Very good. Well, thank you, thank you, thank you for everything. And y'all, I mean, I highly recommend to reach out to Debbie. I've put her, especially her emails. Reach out to her, tell her you want that recipe that she told you about. I saw a few people saying yes, 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 I want them. Unfortunately, because we are on a packed schedule and this is a webinar, we're not going to be. I see some people raising their hands. We won't be doing Q&A, live Q&A until the live Q&A at the very, very end. So maybe write your question down and then you could ask those questions later and Debbie could answer them at that time once we go through those. But thank you so much. Please, please, please reach out to Debbie. Everyone do be clapping. Put your claps in the chats. Say thank you, Debbie. We appreciate you. And I'm going to share my screen and hop to the next thing. One of the things we were blessed with is I reached out to some of the curriculums and they have sent us some videos. So I'm going to share the first one.
Mason. I often get asked why I chose the Charlotte Mason method for homeschooling my children. One reason is that I love good books. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized that it was the living books, the literature, the stories of people's lives that I remembered most and that had affected me most as a person. I learned all sorts of life lessons and gained lots of ideas from, for example, the Little House books. I pulled ideas about diligence and family and thrift and even good manners from Laura Ingalls' experiences in those books. And those ideas became a part of me. They helped shape who I am now as a person. But that's not all. I also realized that when I was reading a textbook for school and I came across information about the pioneers, I immediately related that information back to the ideas I already had in my mind from reading about Laura's life. To this day, I don't recall most of what I read in those textbooks, even though I got excellent grades, which were the symbols that I knew the material. What I remembered is what I read in the living books. And once I realized that it was the literature, the living books, that had the most powerful effect on me, I wanted to tap into that power to educate my children. The power of good literature. Another reason I chose Charlotte Mason is because of her foundational principle that the child is a person. Body, soul, spirit, mind, will, emotions, all of these are included in that person, and we must respect and educate the child as a whole person, not just the mind. I have a special needs child, and I love how Charlotte's methods allow for and even embrace the differences between children. Her methods dovetail beautifully with the way that children naturally learn, and yet they're flexible and leave plenty of room for customizing to help each child grow at his or her own pace. Charlotte's emphasis on giving my child living ideas makes sure that I'm feeding my youngest's mind and shaping her life and encouraging her to keep growing as a person, even as we progress in academics at her slower pace. And the beauty of it is that I can take those same methods and use them with the older children and make their education as rigorous as I need to. It is a whole person approach that encourages me to nourish each child as an individual, to focus on helping each one grow as a person. And to me, that is true education. Another reason I chose the Charlotte Mason approach is because I wanted my children to have a good combination of academics, the arts, and life experiences. And Charlotte Mason offers that balance. Mornings are filled with a wide range of intentional, well-thought-out studies that spread a feast of ideas through the good living books and the things around us. But we're done by noon with no homework. So the children have the afternoons free to explore, to play, to pursue their personal interests, and to dig into their hobbies. It's a wonderful balance of teacher-directed and student-led opportunities. Then, too, I was beginning to understand Charlotte's wisdom in having the children form their own relations with what they were learning, rather than my telling them what should be related in their minds. Let me explain. See, when I first heard about the Charlotte Mason method, we had already been homeschooling for a year. That was my oldest's kindergarten year. And we had been using a unit study approach. Well, during that year, I discovered that unit studies were not a good fit for us. I was burned out from preparing and overseeing all of the hands-on projects. And on top of that, I discovered that my children could recall a couple of the projects that we had done during those months, but they didn't remember the point of those projects. It was kind of like remembering a commercial, but not remembering the product or the business that the commercial's promoting. Well, they knew we had covered a doorway between our living room and dining room with paper and had drawn on it to make a triumphal arch. But they remembered nothing about the Roman emperor that we had studied and for whom the arch was built as a monument. Even though I had tried to connect those two things in their minds, they hadn't made that connection. And I realized the problem was that they had not formed their own personal relation with that emperor or his life. They had not gotten any ideas of their own from his life story. So when I heard that Charlotte Mason encouraged the children to make their own relations, rather than my trying to connect all the dots, I knew that this was the flavor for us. And in the years since then, I've seen for myself how effective it is for the child to make her own relations with what she's learning and to draw her own connections between them, because that's when learning really sticks. I could go on, but let me just mention two more quick reasons that I chose Charlotte Mason. First, her emphasis on habits. Charlotte understood the power of good habits in a person's life, and she encouraged parents to make habit training a part of the children's education as a person. But what is brilliant to me is how her school methods were designed to reinforce those good habits too. For example, one of the reasons we can be done with schoolwork by noon is because her methods reinforce the habits of full attention and best effort. You can get a lot done in a short time if you give full attention and best effort. And then last, one of the main reasons I chose the Charlotte Mason approach for our homeschool is because I wanted my children to love learning for the rest of their lives. I know too many people who went through a traditional textbook-style education and couldn't wait for graduation because then they would be finished learning. Oh, to me that is so sad. I wanted my children to know the joy of learning, and it is a joy when you're learning through such wonderful books and allowed the time to marvel at God's creation around you. Such a rich life when we can keep that love of learning alive. So that's why I chose the Charlotte Mason method. I settled in with that approach, which was a beautiful fit for me and my family. And we have thoroughly enjoyed our homeschool journey for 25 years and counting.
Okay, let me stop sharing. You don't want to see all that funness. All right. Well, I have that particular Charlotte Mason personally was not able. She and I chatted with their company, and with Charlotte Mason herself was not able to jump in to share. They recommended that video. Again, it is just a promotional video, so every person's going to be different. Everyone's going to have different ideas for what works for them for school. I know a lot of you use an eclectic method. I'm going to do a quick stop here.